welcome back to our review session of the vocabulary MCQs. Now, how did you actually find the practice? I hope that you have, you managed to search up the meanings, try to understand several of the phrases. Okay, well, if you still have any questions, don't worry, we'll go through the answers. Now, for the first question, the shoppers did not believe the product the salesman was selling to be as good as he made it to be, right? So they did not believe that it was, obviously when we have salespeople, right, they will try to elevate the product, they'll try to make it seem better than it actually is, right? So the shoppers did not believe that this salesperson was selling a product that was as good as he, claimed that it was, right? So they all seemed, doubtful, deceived, right? Deceived means to actually cause someone to believe that, you have lied to them. Okay, dissatisfied means that you're unsatisfied with something, you're not happy with something. And discouraged, right? To prevent something by showing disapproval, right? You're not happy about something, right? So in this case, because they weren't sure if he was telling the truth, the answer is actually doubtful. All right, now, the soccer team hopes to the championship trophy they won last year. So this is something that the soccer team has actually won last year. Did they win this year? We don't know, right? So they hope to, is it retain, right? Is it repeat? Is it reclaim, right? Or is it to renounce? Renounce obviously is out because it means to actually give up something. Repeat, you don't repeat a championship victory, right? In this case, you actually reclaim, means you recover something, right? Whenever we talk about a title, right? A certain prestigious award that you have, you reclaim it. So the answer is C. Okay, now after the climb up the mountain, the mountaineers were exhausted. So what type of climb do you think it is if the mountaineers were exhausted? That's right, it's got to be very tiring, it's got to be very hard on the body, if they're exhausted, it's they sort of want to give up, right? So in this case, not hectic. Hectic means very busy, very full of activity, right? Is it strenuous, right? There's a lot of effort taken. Okay, excessive means that there's too much of, right? And aggressive means you're ready to attack. You're very on the go when it comes to wanting to, attack something, right? So in this case, when you're talking about a climb up, you're talking about something very strenuous, right? Something very tiring. Hence the answer is B. Okay. The government, what rules to stop smoking in public areas, right? The government, what kind of rules you think? Right? The government lay aside means to put aside for a while, right? You lay aside your problems, right? You meditate for a while. You don't think about your problems, for example. You lay along, you lie flat, basically. Okay, you lay down, you put enforce, right? You enforce something because you think that it's probably better for the better good, right? You lay out, you put out things, right? And especially when it's being arranged, right? You put up parts that are being arranged, okay? So in this case, the government laid down rules to stop smoking in public areas. They wanted to enforce rules, so to speak. Okay, so the answer is C. All right. For question 5, although the diners could help themselves to the what kind of food at the buffet table, they did not waste food. They took only what they wanted to eat, right? So you realize that in this case, during buffets, I don't know about you, but in the past, right, we used to overload our plate with lots and lots and lots of food. And in the end, what happens, right? We actually waste it because we waste the food that's on the plate because we are unable to finish it. I mean, our stomachs all have a certain capacity that it can fill, right? So in this case, because, we are just greedy, right? So we end up, not being able to finish the food. But in this case, although the diners could help themselves to what kind of food, if it's a buffet, it's too much, right? It's more than they can handle. So it's not resourceful because resourceful actually means to be able to find solutions to a problem, right? It is not sufficient because a buffet is not just sufficient, it's more than sufficient, right? It's not modest, right? Because it is very unassuming. When you say something is or someone is modest, means that they do not portray that they can do certain things, right? They are very humble in a way. So in this case, because we're talking about buffet, so the answer should be abundant. Although the diners could help themselves to the abundant food at the buffet table, they did not waste food. They only took what they wanted to eat. Okay, hence the answer is B. Alright, students, now this is the answer guide. Okay, and we will go on to the next section. I hope you actually did well for this section. If not, try to understand the meanings of the words and practice it over again. Okay, I'll see you soon.